Om. Om. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः should I read from the beginning, Brahmaraji, the summary? I think that's what was decided yesterday, and then we will do the Gita Dhyanam. Just give me 2 minutes. Okay. Why study the Gita? Sorry. Gita sugita kartavya kim anyaihi shastra vistaraihi. Praising the Bhagavad Gita, this verse says that the Gita has to be studied well. Gita sugita kartavya. What will you gain by studying other books in detail? Kim anyaihi shastra vistaraihi. This verse presents the Gita as a book to be studied, a book containing everything that one has to know through the scriptures, Vedas. It doesn't belittle the efficacy or the necessity of studying other scriptural books. It only points out that the study of the Gita amounts to the study of other scriptures. The source book of the scriptural wisdom of India are four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. The Vedas are fulfilled in the last portion called Vedanta or Upanishads. Another famous Sanskrit verse likens these Upanishads to a cow, and the Gita becomes the cow's milk. सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत. The Gita, the milk, is milked by Lord Krishna himself, who is presented as an avatar of the Lord in the Mahabharata and in the Bhagavata. He is the one who is teaching the Gita to Arjuna. Arjuna serves as the calf to whom the milk, the message of the Gita, is given. What constitutes a scripture? A scripture is something that has a message with a lasting, universal value. What is relevant now may not be relevant later, nor may it have been relevant before. A scripture's message should be relevant to me as an individual and to you. It should be relevant to anyone at any time and place. Only when a message addresses certain problems that are always there for a human being, does it have lasting relevance? Because the Vedas and the Gita have that kind of a message, they are a scripture. The Gita contains two main topics. The Gita is recognized and highly respected by the scholars and the devoted lay public in India because of its two main topics, Yoga Shastra and Brahma Vidya. Together, they form a body of knowledge which is very important for every individual. Yoga Shastra, the knowledge meant to make a person mature as an individual, is called Yoga Shastra. A mature individual is one who is free from conflicts, fear, agitation, guilt, and hurt. Yoga, as it is taught in the Gita, helps one to become relatively composed, tranquil, alert, and free. In short, a cheerful person. You are then fit to gain Brahma Vidya. Please pay attention as how important the preparedness of our mind to study this beautiful scripture. The eligibility criteria, which we already had studied in the introduction part also by Swamiji, but once again he's reminding. Second, Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya is knowledge of the whole, a knowledge that liberates a person who has become mature by yoga has something more to accomplish. Total freedom called moksha. To know Brahman is to know the truth of oneself as the whole, as complete. It is a knowledge that frees you from the notion of being small, limited, mortal being. These two topics of the Gita, which gives the very essence of all four Vedas, make the Gita a scripture with a message that is relevant for everyone. The context of the Gita. The Gita itself is set in a battlefield, not in the Himalayas or in a forest. Arjuna is face to face with a problem born of conflict between his familial affections and the call of duty. On one side, it seems to be necessary for him to perform his duty, which was to fight the war. Then there is another equally powerful pull, his affections for his family and teachers and his own self respect, which conflict with the concept of duty. Caught between the horns of duty and affection, Arjuna is confused as he stands between the two forces on the battlefield. The battle had been declared because Duryodhana had usurped the kingdom. I hope I am correct reading the correct pronunciation. Usurped the kingdom. Usurped. The rightful rulers were the Pandavas, Arjuna and his four brothers, who had been in exile for 13 years. When they returned to claim the kingdom back as it was promised, Duryodhana, who had enjoyed absolute power, didn't want to give up the kingdom. The Pandavas had tried to avoid war by asking Krishna to act as a mediator. Krishna went to Duryodhana to work out a solution so that both parties would be happy. Duryodhana wouldn't give the kingdom back, nor even share the kingdom with the Pandavas. He would not give a district, a country, a village with 5 houses. nor a house with 5 rooms. Not even a square inch of land would he give. He said, let them either go back to the forest or meet me on the battlefield. Thus, Krishna's attempt to negotiate had failed, and there was no way of avoiding a war. Arjuna and his brothers were supposed to be the rulers. Duryodhana, their cousin, was occupying the kingdom improperly. Arjuna, who was considered the greatest archer of the time, was now called upon to fight to uphold the Dharma. Given this situation, the Gita opens. Arjuna is seated in a chariot driven by Lord Krishna and drawn by white horses. He has been waiting for this day to settle his account with Duryodhana. Duryodhana had wronged him in a number of incidents throughout his life, but he could do nothing. Now the day has come. Arjuna is a flame of fury, and he wants to know in this battlefield who are the people with whom I should fight. He asked Krishna to place the chariot between the two forces. Arjuna's conflict. When Arjuna looked, he found highly respected people like Drona, his own teacher Bhishma, his grandfather, and many relatives and acquaintances with whom he has to fight. He said, what is the use of fighting all these people? Without killing them, I am not going to get the kingdom back. And what is the use of getting the kingdom back by destroying the people in whose company I would be happy? Arjuna saw that in war nobody is a winner. I don't care for the kingdom, nor I am interested in royal comforts. I don't see anything to be gained by the war. I see a bleak, dark future. Therefore, I am not interested in this fight. Arjuna gave up his bow and arrows. Then Krishna spoke to Arjuna to enthuse him, urging him to do his duty. Arjuna becomes a Shishya. Please let me know my voice if it is breaking. There are not notifications. If it is disturbing, then just let me know. Arjuna becomes a Shishya. While caught between the call of duty and his emotions, Arjuna begins to appreciate a fundamental problem, the problem of a human being. That problem takes, okay, Dr. Ren, thank you. Arjuna becomes a Shishya. While caught between the call of duty and his emotions, Arjuna begins to appreciate a fundamental problem, the problem of a human being. That problem takes possession of his mind and he wants to find a solution. Finding a teacher in Lord Krishna, he presents himself to Krishna as a Shishya, disciple. Arjuna was always a devotee but not a Shishya. He finds himself a Shishya on the battlefield. Lord Krishna accepts Arjuna as a disciple and teaches him in the succeeding 17 chapters of the Gita. Throughout the Gita, the Yoga Shastra is given, telling one the ways and means to be a mature person, free from conflicts, fear, hurt, and guilt. I repeat once again, this line, very important. Throughout the Gita, the Yoga Shastra is given, telling one the ways and means to be a mature person, free from conflicts, fear, hurt, and guilt. Along with the yoga, message is the Brahma Vidya, knowledge of the reality of yourself, being the essence of everything, your being the whole. The Gita has all that is to be learned from the four Vedas, which are a vast literature. Therefore, the Gita has to be studied, and if it is understood well, everything is as well understood. This is in praise of the Gita. So beautiful. So you have to be free from the feeling of hurt and guilt. And it is a Brahma Vidya, which is so very beautiful, telling you that you do not need anything. You are that whole, you are complete. Yeah.
And the
Uh,
fundamental problem of human race is the conflict between duty and emotions, which is what Arjuna represents. And all the remaining 17 chapters are Bhagwan's reply to Arjuna becoming a student. Till then, he was only a devotee. So, until anybody puts themselves as a student and surrenders, the knowledge of the Gita would not become their own. So,
assimilation.
yeah.
Brahmaraji, only one confusion is there, not a confusion. Why it is like still there is prayas and shreyas, or I will consider swadharma and loka kalyan. When you are giving priority to the loka kalyan, every moment you face the conflict, and does it, and that time while giving the little priority to your prayers, you have to compromise in the other shreyas. But the, again, I don't know that balance. I'm not able to make it. So is it, does it mean that there is still a preparedness of mind which is lacking, or my own? So that
See,
I
it
want
is
to.
each one of us has roles to perform, right? Like you have a role as a wife, you have a role as a mother, and you have a role also as a social, um, in social service, you have a role. So it is all about fulfilling these roles. It is not just about Shreyas. See, along with doing prayers, keeping Shreyas in mind, we move ahead. You cannot also not sit without doing anything, right? You cannot say, okay, because that's exactly what Arjuna's question was from the very beginning. He says, you're praising jnana, you're praising karma. Now you tell me what to do. He wanted to go to Rishikesh and just follow Shreyas. But what was his prayers? His prayers there at that point was to protect dharma. It was his duty to protect dharma as a kshatriya. So keeping in mind Shreyas, keeping in mind that knowledge that I am not doing it. It's part of my duty and therefore I'm doing it. Having that viveka, that of atma, anatma, then you move ahead. So it is not that you're delinking Shreyas and prayers, keeping moksha as your ultimate. You're fine-tuning your prayers, the way you function in the empirical world. Vyavahara satta is there. It is, you cannot negate it, right? But how do you act there in order to become more and more mature in your mind, to become eligible for this Brahma Vidya, for that knowledge to dawn? We continue doing our work in the Vyavaharika Satta as karma yogis. So then there is no confusion.
Yeah. No, I don't have confusion,
Yeah,
Brahmaraji,
yeah.
because time and over again, that yoga kshema vahamyaham, that is
Mhm.
proved by, I mean, it is happening in my life. I would
Right.
like to share my just a small incident. I take Bal Vihar, and last Saturday I had to go for with my husband for his ECG and all. So my routine time was 10 o'clock. I was in the hospital till 10 o'clock. So I messaged that please let us meet at 11 instead of 10. And 11 also I was in the hospital. So I had to cancel with pain, and I came home at 1 o'clock. Okay, and I did not prepare anything for my lunch or anything. But can you imagine my students' parent came with a tiffin? I mean, I cried that day. He was sitting at my doorstep. That I realized you were since morning you were in the hospital. How could you cook? So he came with the tiffin. So I just bow down to the God that He's taking care so well without even my expectation. So then I feel uh, bad that so I told them that can we have class now at 1 o'clock? Then they said, no, no, we cannot have. You please go ahead with your routine. And that was I mean, but still, so I feel that I want to give my, 100% to only the Shreyas part. The prayers is taken care by him. So I don't want to bother about that. So that is happening. But then, is it okay if I give full attention to that? But I'm not ignoring my duty, Swadharma, at the same time. I'm doing what is to be done. Just okay type. Not like before, where I was putting my head and soul into it. But yes, I'm not doing any compromise in doing my own duty.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. This is exactly what, see, at that point in time, what was your responsibility? Your duty was to be with Sudhir, be with him in the hospital as his wife. The priority there was to be in the hospital than take your Balvihar class. And since you were the only one, you could not arrange another alternate teacher. That's fine. So you went ahead and did your duty, right? So as long as we don't have this conflict in our mind and we choose what we need to do, it's not about choosing. It's quite clear as to what we need to prioritize at that point. That inner voice will tell us what is the most important thing to do, right? So
it happens spontaneously,
it is.
Hmm.
See, what you did was beautiful in that you informed them, and then, like you rightly said, yoga kshemam vahamyaham. He will take care.
Yeah.
Right?
But
So
then
there,
I feel,
swakarmana tamabhyarcha. Remember that 47th verse in chapter 18.
yeah,
Yattaf
correct.
pravrittir bhutanam, yataf pravrittir bhutanam, yena sarvamidam tatam, swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. So do your swakarma. It is like worshipping him. That is what Bhagavad Gita tells us. Bhagwan has said, and Swami Dayanandaji has made it so clear. He says, when a person is doing his swakarma with that devotion of a karma yogi, that of course is added to it. It's not just, you're not just doing karma. You're doing karma as a karma yogi. That itself is worship. That itself brings fulfillment. Why? Because it makes you a mature person. You're no longer caught up in the negative emotions of hurt, guilt, anger, frustration. Your mind is calm, clean, and you're also pursuing Brahma Vidya, which is why Bhagavad Gita is such a complete scripture. It gives us Yoga Shastra, lays down the way we need to conduct ourselves in the world outside, and it gives us the knowledge of the Brahma.
Yeah, so no, that confirmation has happened, Brahmaraji, that I don't want to follow the prayers, but I'm not at the same time, I'm not ignoring. But the in the eyes of like, the family members, I may not be the ideal mother or ideal wife or ideal daughter-in-law, because I'm giving more importance to the Shreya's part, which is giving me more satisfaction, more happiness, and more than that, the completeness. I feel that I'm while doing that, while performing that, I feel that completeness.
Yeah. I can understand where you're coming from, because I have been told so many times by a lot of well wishers. I'm not going to put them down. They're all well wishers. They're saying it with a good intention.
Hmm.
I've been told time and again, why don't you change the timings of your class? 5 o'clock in the morning, your sleep is getting affected. But it's just happening so naturally. It is now, I'm not putting any extra effort in doing this, but in the eyes of others, they think it is, I'm putting myself on a strain, it's affecting health. Yes, I'll have to work on getting adequate amount of sleep by going to bed early. That is what I will have to do. But this 5 o'clock timing has become part of life, and it's something joyful. So only you can
Hmm.
understand that. Everybody around there, they have they have with a good intention, they're telling you. But see,
Hmm.
we are not here to fulfill everybody's, we are not here to please everyone, right? You're here
Correct.
to fulfill your own inner call. And this journey is everybody's inner journey.
Yeah, I'm
So
so grateful to you for this opportunity. I'm telling everyone, reading Bhagavad Gita like this aloud, it is such a the joy, the expression is beyond words, the amount of joy. So I'm so grateful. You have been telling me before also, so I'm why I did not take that opportunity before, but that time I put prayers in the priority. So I'm requesting everyone, when we have the Shreyas in mind, then really Bhagwan takes care. And it's so beautiful journey now, so beautiful.
thank you for sharing your life, Bela. That was quite inspirational.
Yeah, meanwhile, shall I put Bhagavad Gita Mahatmyam, Brahmaraji, or please guide me
Are
what?
we finished the end of this one?
Yeah, I think this was the last paragraph which I read. And I think the sharing is
Okay.
very important. Everybody can
Can
share.
I request you, where there was
Yeah,
one paragraph
Yeah, we
that
didn't
we
read that
wanted to
paragraph
redo?
from
Yeah,
7th,
can we just revisit that paragraph?
verse 70.
uh, which paragraph? Which one you are saying, Dr.
There
Mara,
was one
Brahmara?
paragraph that
In
gave the
this,
gist of being a karma yogi, why we have to we consider Ishvara. It was the difference between being an ethical person and a karma yogi. So that was the paragraph. If you can just read that once. I can't
you
remember
mean
where
here
it
in the
was.
summary of the study of Gita?
No,
Why
it was
study
before
Gita
that.
in that?
It was before
Okay.
that.
So before that was the
Must be 76, I think.
which page 476, Dr. Mara?
Yeah, I think this draw a line, this winner draw a line. Just go up a little. Yeah.
Verse number 76, I think.
Yeah, Brahmaraji says this paragraph, if you draw a line here,
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
go one or two paras before that.
where there is proper
Yeah,
Yes.
attitude and
wherever the
effort, Lord's
proper
grace is
attitude, yeah.
always there.
Yeah, that maybe you can read the whole thing. It would make good sense.
Yeah,
So
would
this
you like
actually,
to read, Dr. Mara? Because I know you too enjoy reading just like me. Yatra
I
you,
can read also. Yeah.
yeah, we can repeat this verse, Brahmaraji.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll repeat it. Yes.
Yeah. Dr. Mara, I will just read the shloka and then you can go ahead with the Anvaya and everything. Yeah, is it okay?
Okay, no
Or you want
problem.
to
Yeah.
read this shloka since it
No,
is
no, no.
very...
Go ahead. Go ahead. Read the
No, this
sloka. That's
shloka you
fine.
must
Thank
be
you.
knowing. If you want to read, you can go ahead. The shloka
No, it's
also.
okay. Go ahead and read the sloka. I will read
Okay,
it.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम. यत्र, wherever, Yogeshwarah Krishnah, Krishna the Lord of Yoga, yatra, wherever, Parthah Dhanurdharah, Arjuna the one who bears the bow, tatra, there, Shrihi, wealth, Vijayah, victory, Bhutihi, various riches, Dhruva, definite, Nitihi, justice, Mama Matihi, this is my conclusion. Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishnah, Yatra Partha Dhanurdharah, Tatra Shrir Vijayah Bhutihi, Dhruva Nitihi Mama Matihi. Yeah, Dr. Mara, please go ahead.
Okay. You can hear me, right? Can you hear
Yes,
me
very
okay?
well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, good. Wherever there is Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, wherever there is Arjuna, the one who bears the bow, their wealth, victory, various riches, and definite justice are present. This is my conclusion. Sanjaya says, wherever Krishna is, there is Shri, wealth, and Vijaya, victory. And wherever Arjuna is, there too there is wealth and victory. And when he says wherever Krishna is, he means in whose heart Krishna is. So wherever Krishna is, he means in whose heart Krishna is. Arjuna here is called the one who carries a bow, the Dhanurdhara. That is significant here, and later we will look into it further. Wherever Krishna is, all wealth will be, nowhere else. Again, this line that is significant here, and later we will look into it further. Wherever Krishna is, all wealth will be, nowhere else. Because Lakshmi is inseparable from Krishna. This wealth is not ordinary wealth, but includes all kinds of wealth, bhuti, moral wealth, material wealth, spiritual wealth, etc. They will all be there. They will all be there for the one who has Krishna and Arjuna in his heart. It is certain, Dhruva, there is no failure possible. Then again, justice, niti, will also certainly be there. That means there will be order, proper government in terms of dharma. Justice will be there because Krishna is dharma. It is not Krishna's dharma. Krishna is dharma. Even though Krishna is more than dharma, dharma is not separate from Krishna. Who, of course, Sanjaya didn't want to attract the wrath of the Drashtra, and therefore he says, "This is my conclusion, Matihi Mama." Otherwise, Sanjaya is telling the Drashtra here that if he has some blind hopes that Duryodhana would win, he had better forget it. Wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there will be wealth, victory, and justice. In this way, Sanjaya concludes the whole conversation. Wherever there is proper attitude and effort, Lord's grace is always there. Again, wherever there is proper attitude and effort, Lord's grace is always there. Let us look now at why Sanjaya calls Arjuna the Nuddara, the one who wields the bow. Mere Arjuna will not achieve victory. He must be ready to do what is to be done. Only then can there be victory, etc. By calling him the Nuddara, Sanjaya indicates that Arjuna is a human being who is ready to perform his duty. And it becomes yoga when Krishna is recognized. Otherwise, it is simple karma. Otherwise, it is simple karma. Where a person recognizes Lord Krishna and is ready to do his duty, there will be antakarna shuddhi and then knowledge. Thus, Sri here can be considered knowledge as well as material wealth. Everything will be there for him because he does not sit and regret. And that is because he knows that the giver of the results of all actions, Karma Baladata, is by his side. So I'll read this line one more time. Everything will be there for him because he does not sit and regret. And that is because he knows that the giver of the results of all actions, Karma Baladata, is by his side. Once you have that Deva on your side, that unknown factor is no longer unknown in the sense that it is not going to spoil the result of your undertaking. The unknown factor is controlled by invoking Ishvara. Real control is taking Ishvara into account. If you want to have control without taking Ishvara into account, you are in trouble. Not all the variables can be controlled, but if you take the controller on your side, you have surrendered, and that attitude makes life simple. Then karma becomes yoga. And because of that, there is a grateful acceptance, prasada buddhi, of whatever comes. Therefore, there is no failure, there is always victory. If we learn from every experience, there is no need to draw a line. So this is what you're talking about, the draw a line. If we learn from every experience, there is no need to draw a line. Generally, we draw a line as though it is all over. An enterprising businessman who incurs some losses does not wind up his business.
No
An
audio.
enterprising businessman who incurs some losses does not wind up his business. If he has incurred a loss, he tries to find out what happened, keeps going. He knows that it is a process in which sometimes you incur loss and sometimes gain. Therefore, he does not draw a line. If we do not draw a line,
You need some help to read, Dr. Mara? You need to take a break?
yeah, if you go ahead, Dr.
I would request Bela, if you're there, you can continue, Bela.
Yeah, I am here only. Yeah, I'll just read. If you do not draw a line, you are always a winner. Draw a line and you are a loser. I repeat this very important line. Once again, I read this paragraph. If we learn from every experience, there is no need to draw a line. Generally, we draw a line as though it is all over. An enterprising businessman who incurs some losses does not wind up his business. If he has incurred a loss, he tries to find out what happened and keeps going. He knows that it is a process in which sometimes you incur loss and sometimes gain. Therefore, he does not draw a line. If you do not draw a line, you are always a winner. Draw a line and you are a loser. In living a successful life, there is no necessity to draw a line because the whole life is a complete life to be lived purposefully, learning at every step. When should you draw the line? Only at the time of death. The whole life is a process. And if Krishna is on your side, you are a winner. If not, you are not. Even though Duryodhana thought that he called all the shots as he had larger armies and all the invincible warriors, he lost the war. Without Krishna, even Arjuna would have met Lord Yama on the first day itself because Krishna was sitting there as his driver. He went on to victory. Without that driver, in spite of all his weaponry and skills, Arjuna would not even have fought. At the beginning of the fight, he was caught between the horns of a dilemma of having to choose between duty and affection. He could not even start. Where is the question of fighting? Because Krishna was there, there was victory. Certainly, there will be justice, niti, and prosperity, bhuti. Because it is mentioned separately, Shri can also be taken as knowledge, vidya. Everything will be there. We can understand this to be true individually and also with reference to a society. Where there is niti, each one does his job and therefore there is plenty for everybody. In whichever period of time or place that Krishna is there, people are ready to do what is to be done. Then all these will be there. Thus ends chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita. With this, the Bhagavad Gita itself and Shankara's commentary also ends. Now we shall see the concluding statements of the Bhashya and the Gita itself. Om Tat Saditi Shri Mahabharate Shatasahasryam Samhitayam Vaiyasikyam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjun Samvade Moksha Sannyasa Yogo Namashtadashodhyayah. Om Tat Sat. We conclude with Om Tat Sat. Om is everything, and that alone is Satya. In the epic of 10,000 verses written by Vyasa in the Bhishma Parva of the Mahabharata, in this section called the Bhagavad Gita, which enjoys the status of an Upanishad because its subject matter is the knowledge of Brahman, Brahma Vidya, and which is also a Yoga Shastra in the dialogue that took place between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, is this chapter called Moksha Sannyasa, the renunciation, that is the renunciation of all activities by giving up the sense of doership, kartritva, in the wake of the knowledge that Atma is not a doer. That gives freedom. Many things were told in this Shastra, but predominantly renunciation of all actions. Sarva Karma Sannyasa was pointed out, and thus the last chapter is rightly called Moksha Sannyasa. इति श्रीमत्परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य गोविंद भगवत पूज्य पाद श्रीष्य श्रीमदाचार्य शंकर भगवतः कृतौ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता भाष्ये मोक्ष संन्यास योगो नामाष्टादशोऽध्यायः. And finally, this chapter was commented upon by the revered teacher Sri Shankara, who is the disciple of the Paramahamsa Sannyasi Sri Govinda Bhagavatachapada. Govinda Bhagavat Pada. Samaptimagamaidam. Samaptimagamadidam Gita Shastram. Thus ends the Gita Shastra. Generally, when we complete a book like this, we repeat the first verse so that we start all over again. This is to indicate that its study is a continuous study, a study of a lifetime. Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandava Shaiva Kimakurvata Samjaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
I like the explanation of Om Tat Sat. Very, very well said. Om is everything, and that alone is Satya. Wonderful. Om Tat Sat. Beautiful.
Jai Gurudev. I have one question. They say Yoga Shastra and Brahma Vidya. So the Shastra and Vidya, I just little bit wanted a more deeper understanding of these two different words. One is Shastra and the other is Vidya.
Vidya is practical knowledge.
Like whatever we are doing is the yoga means, like for example, that karma yoga, right? Where when you're supposed to be done, it is to be done. It had to be done by you. So when when we are doing that karma, we have here, in this particular paragraph we read, Lord Krishna in our mind, that, or Ishvara on your side, that you're doing that with the prayerful attitude, like with that attitude that this is the thing, that job to be done by me, right? With that attitude. So the right attitude and the effort that you put in and you complete it, so that becomes yoga, karma yoga, right? I mean, that's the understanding I have. So everything is like, when, that's what it said, when Ishvara is on your side, you don't have to worry about the result of the action. The result of the action is, that the karma pala data is, means that Ishvara will give you whatever, that whatever that you're doing, that get it done and it becomes successful. So, or whatever the result would be, we accept it because we already surrendered to the God, or that mm, or you with that attitude, that, what do you call that, kartrutva bhavana, that you are doing it for God. Like I think one time Dr. Brahma also saying, like, whatever you're doing, like you're doing it for little child, like
Yajna
when you
bhava. Yeah.
Yajna Bhava, right? So when we are doing it with that attitude, like we are doing it, waking up uh, with that love and affection towards God, like as if you are waking up, um, rather than saying, "Hey, get up," like somebody like. So that's what is Yoga Sastra. Maybe Dr. Brahma can explain it a little bit better. But
Yeah.
Brahma
Yeah.
Vidya is basically that it's educating about, it's a study of Brahman. It's also telling Atma and the Brahman, everything. Of course, Advaita Bhavana is there too, but then that's about Brahma Vidya. So it is talking about Brahma, the like the Guhya. We read one chapter, right? Guhyatva, something like the secret,
Yeah, Rajaguhya Yoga.
right?
So I think from my little understanding, the question that Madhuri ji asked was, why is it Yoga Shastra and Brahma Vidya? The difference between Shastra and Vidya there. Normally, Shastra is something that lays out the do's and don'ts of how a particular thing needs to be done. So when you talk of
Niyamas.
yoga as karma, it is laying down how you need to perform your karma. That's all about karma yoga. So therefore it's Shastra. Whereas when it comes to Brahma Vidya, Vidya is something that takes away avidya, that destroys avidya. And that is fundamental. So that Vidya there, Brahma Vidya becomes that's it's absolute knowledge. It is the ultimate knowledge. So therefore, I suppose it is Brahma Vidya and not Brahma Shastra or Yoga Vidya. So I think that may be the difference why these two terms, Shastra and Vidya, have been used.
Right. This is
Yoga
something
Shastra.
like absolute, which of course you need to contemplate, but it comes through the grace of God and your own self and the Shastras. That is the Vidya. And Shastras are to be done under certain niyamas and under certain instructions. Yeah, it's making a little bit more sense now. Thank you so much.
That may be one reason. And also in Sanskrit, in order to fit in the meter, sometimes there are certain specific words used. So probably that may be another reason why it is not Yoga Vidya and Brahma Shastra. So I don't know. Maybe these are the two reasons why these two words are used. But the import is that the whole Bhagavad Gita is complete in that it lays down how we need to conduct ourselves in the material world, that is as a karma yogi, preparing our mind, maturing the mind, and yoking it to Krishna. See, here it says Krishna, but it could be anybody that you consider divine. So who you yoke yourself to, some higher power, something that's divine, is Krishna that's personifying Krishna. And that drawing the line is like saying, okay, this is it, that is it. I'm done, I'm finished. Which is why a person who learns from every life's experience does not draw the line. He lives life um, with no regrets. Like he gave the example of a businessman. If he encounters a loss, he does not draw a line. If he's an enterprising businessman, he takes that loss in his stride and continues to put in efforts to become, to gain wealth, to be successful. So the only time where you draw a line is when you leave this physical body. Till such time, every experience in our life teaches us something. And as long as you have Ishvara, you consider Ishvara as the karma phaladata, you take everything, the result of all your actions, as prasada. So whether it is joyful, whether it is not joyful, whether it is what you expected it to be, whether it's something that is totally out of your expectations, you still take it as prasada. And when you are taking it as prasada, you have that pleasantness in your mind. You're not disturbed, you're not flustered. So that the knowledge point, opposite values are complementary, you would assimilate and you would live that knowledge point completely. Then your mind gets settled. You're not living in life in regret. You're living life out of happiness, not for happiness. Then that is a true karma yogi. In such a prepared mind, then Brahma Vidya has that opportunity to dawn.
Very beautiful explanation.
I would request everybody to share their few lines on their understanding of the Gita, and till about we have about 15 minutes for that, and then we'll chant the Gita Mahatmyam today. We'll end today with Gita Mahatmyam.
Hari Om Brahmaraji, there are two Mahatmyams, right? Both I will
From the
share.
Manana, the one that is a little longer, that is what we'll do.
Okay, I'll try to find out. Shall I stop sharing the screen right now just to
Yeah,
look for the
we can, all of us can unmute, and how we have understood Gita, especially the summary of the Gita, why we need to study the Gita. If we can all share, that will be rewarding for everyone. Just one thing before I wanted to share was this constant conflict between commitment and feeling. From each of us experiences, each of us becomes an Arjuna whenever we have this conflict between commitment and feeling. I don't feel like doing it, but you're committed to do it. You're supposed to do your regular sadhana every day. That's your commitment. But what does the emotional aspect of us come up and say? I don't feel like doing it. And therefore we postpone it. And then we end up not doing it. I'm just giving a small example. Your sadhana is one. Similarly, whatever you have to do, whatever in your life that comes up at that point, in the role that you have taken, that responsibility you've taken, becomes your commitment. So this Mahabharata is not happening elsewhere. It's happening in our mind. And if we have Krishna on our side, we have moksha as our goal, and we have that the attitude of doing it as worship, then that commitment becomes so joyful. It doesn't become like a burden. And we will not be under the hold of our feelings. We'll rise above our feelings and do what is to be done. Yeah, please, I would request everybody to share as well.
Dr. Brahmra, you have really gone, whenever I hear you explaining, oh my God, there's so many. It's very nice. It actually brings more joy to, understanding it a little bit better when we are reading. But I do think I do feel joy to be in this class, because whatever it is, I've been lately, I'm not doing that great, like bit late, missing classes and all that. But I also felt the 18th chapter, I wish I could have done it a little bit better. The summary of all the other chapters. Like you said, having that in Krishna on my side, I can only say like my side, meaning our side, like as a personal then it makes it easier. Definitely, that point is really, I like it. So I don't know what to tell you, but I was thinking, listening to anytime when you say Krishna, I feel joy in myself. Like you feel happy. And when I went to my um, the our class get together last October, everybody was dancing, and I didn't feel like doing it. But then again, I don't know. Whenever I listen Krishna bhajan, you feel like you're moving your body, like taking. It just that because when you feel that joy in you, totally you forget about yourself. I mean, what you're doing, and that's how I feel after reading now. I feel that um, I always compare this. Why so many gopis, so many people are towards Krishna. It's that love that you develop automatically. Like knowing his um, this Bhagavan. Like the other day we were trying to figure out what Bhagavan means, right? Like Sri wealth and knowledge and so many, 6 different things. Now I forgot. Do you remember? One is wealth and virya, the strength, uh,
Total
fame,
dispassion.
yeah, the fame and pride, I think pride or something like that. I forgot all those words. Yes, anyway, those 6 thing, that's why I think we develop that passion towards this god. And so it naturally you feel that you know that you want to learn more and more about this Gita and what it has to follow that in your life. It's really I know I'm not talking very coherently, I'm not getting all the gist of it, but I will hopefully, I'm focusing on, well, next time when we are reading this, we have to really put a lot of effort on it and see. Thank you.
Hey, Gurudev. My understanding is there are 2 aspects to this life. One is Paramarthika Satta and Vyavaharika Satta. Paramarthika Satta is there is only one, Aham Brahmasmi, there is no two, everything is one. Vyavaharika Satta is dealing with the reality of this Dvandva world. Everything is happening here. So many other emotions or relationship, everything we have to deal with. For this, we should have Yajna Bhava and Prasada Buddhi. Why we should have Yajna Bhava? So that everything is happening here, and we are not we are only an instrument in the hands of God. We are not the doers. And Prasada Buddhi is accepting whatever is the outcome happens without having any ill will or grudge, just accepting. Without any doership. Doership is the cause of karma, and so you should not have the doership at all. What is happening here? Because of the 3 gunas are doing here, sattva, rajas, and tamas. So we should transcend these 3 gunas, and then transcend the gunas. We have to live our life prayerfully with the attitude of surrender. And surrender is what? Accepting whatever comes in our way. This is the major understanding of my Gita. Thank you, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Although the silence is very, very sublime and deep, we'll use this space to share, even if it's 1 or 2 lines. Whatever you have experienced, all of us in the group, you could just use this opportunity to share. It is important to share as well, because only when you express yourself that, that little more and more clarity will dawn.
Jai Gurudev. I had been missing classes for a long time, so not tuned to what you people are studying now. But then overall, when I think of, I could get the gist of what is dharma and adharma, and what is satya and asatya. Little bit of knowledge about it, though need to go deeper into it. And I think, is this Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra? The study of dharma and adharma is Yoga Shastra, and Satya and Asatya is Brahma Vidya. Is this what I am getting it right?
Yes.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev. But I would be grateful if we start this once more again, so we get a deeper understanding. Thank you so much.
I feel it is like tip of the iceberg. Still long way to go. Would love to go through it once again with more sincerity from my side. Jai Gurudev.
Dr. Renu has written, Bhagavad Gita is practical way of living life, and studying it every day brings much clarity in dealing with day-to-day challenges we face in personal and professional life. Yeah, Lavlinji has also written, Gita guides us. Gita guides us the way to live life, doing karma with sincerity and surrender. Knowledge removes ignorance, and that is the way to moksha. Knowing conscience self, Bhagwan's assurance that he is always there with us and in each particle. There is no two. The learnings are immense, and living it again and again it is a real joy.
If you go back, sorry, since it's quiet, I thought I'll tell you the first thing started off when in the second chapter that Association was not to worry about it. That first thing I learned from Gita is that worrying is not going to get you anywhere. So you have to work on. Then that Vivasayatmika Buddhi, you haven't gotten it yet, but still to work on that one. And Karma Yoga is the important one now. Every time when you're doing something, working on it. And every chapter is so wonderful, like as we learn how we, that's the thing. Next, as we are doing it, hopefully we can incorporate in our lives, jnana yoga, all the other ones too. Every chapter, if you go along with it, there is something that how we were. I used to, look down on somebody before. Now, after reading that Sarva Bhutasma, when we read about Atma Bodh and what is Atma and how we are not these names and forms, we are all one. And the Brahman and the Atma is one and the same. With that knowledge, when we let go of lot of enmity and not sweating on small things. Let go of, even if comes up, still then we let go of that feelings in your mind, because that Sarva Bhutas, that sloga again, yet you you see yourself and then self in others. So that is also another learning point for me. And then the last one we just read, it really nailed it in our head. I know when Nana used to give us classes, every time, whenever we talked about it, I know he's nailing it on our head now. And that's how it feels like Dr. Brahma is taking that stage now, and she's really leading us. I really, really appreciate what you're doing. And all of other co-sadhaks too. We all support each other, and hopefully we evolve from this stage to the next stage. And I'm sure Lord Krishna will be with us and making us move forward with learning Gita thoroughly and able to incorporate it within us. And we surrender to you, Lord Krishna, with all our hearts. Thank you.
Yeah, anybody else wants to share? If not, we'll read the Gita Mahatmyam.
Sorry to interrupt the flow. Brahmaraji, is this the correct one? Both
Yeah. Yes.
small and big, both we should read. By Sri Shankaracharya also is that small one page.
I think we'll have time to do both.
Okay. So first this and then the small?
Yeah, we'll first do this. Do you want to chant or you want me to chant? Let me know.
Yeah. If I'm correct in my pronunciation, just stop me. I mean, if I'm not correct.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Anyone wants to share? Yeah. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Gita Mahatmyam. धरोवाच भगवन् परमेशान भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी प्रारब्धं भुज्यमानस्य कथं भवति हे प्रभो श्रीविष्णुरुवाच प्रारब्धं भुज्यमानो हि गीताभ्यासरतः सदा समुक्तः स सुखी लोके कर्मणा नोपलिप्यते महापापादिपापानि गीताध्यानं करोति चेत् क्वचित् स्पर्शं न कुर्वन्ति नलिनीदलमम्बुवत् गीताया पुस्तकं यत्र यत्र पाठः प्रवर्तते तत्र सर्वाणि तीर्थानि प्रयागादीनि तत्र वै सर्वे देवाश्च ऋषयो योगिनः पन्नगाश्च ये गोपाला गोपिका वापि नारदोद्धवपार्षदैः सहायो जायते शीघ्रं यत्र गीता प्रवर्तते यत्र गीता विचारश्च पठनं पाठनं श्रुतं तत्राहं निश्चितं पृथ्वी निवसामि सदैव हि गीताश्रयेऽहं तिष्ठामि गीता मे चोत्तमं गृहम् गीता ज्ञानमुपाश्रित्य त्रिं लोकान् पालयाम्यहम् त्रिं लोकान् पालयाम्यहम् गीता मे परमा विद्या ब्रह्मरूपा न संशयः अर्धमात्राक्षरा नित्या स्वानिर्वाच्य पदात्मिका चिदानन्देन कृष्णेन प्रोक्ता स्वमुखतोऽर्जुनं वेदत्रयी परानन्दा तत्त्वार्थज्ञानसंयुता योऽष्टादशजपो नित्यं नरो निश्चलमानसः ज्ञानसिद्धिं स लभते ततो याति परं पदम् पाठे समर्थसम्पूर्णे ततोऽर्धं पाठमाचरेत् तदा गोदानजं पुण्यं लभते नात्र संशयः त्रिभागं पठमानस्तु गङ्गास्नानफलं लभेत् षडंशं जपमानस्तु सोमयागफलं लभेत् एकाध्यायं तु यो नित्यं पठते भक्तिसंयुतः रुद्रलोकमवाप्नोति गणो भूत्वा वसेच्चिरम् अध्यायं श्लोकपादं वा नित्यं यः पठते नरः स याति नरतां यावन्मन्वन्तरं वसुन्धरे गीताया श्लोकदशकं सप्तपञ्चचतुष्टयम् द्वौ त्रीनेकं तदर्धं वा श्लोकानां यः पठेन्नरः चन्द्रलोकमवाप्नोति वर्षाणामयुतं ध्रुवम् गीतापाठसमायुक्तो मृतो मानुषतां व्रजेत् गीताभ्यासं पुनः कृत्वा लभते मुक्तिमुत्तमाम् गीतेत्युच्चारसंयुक्तो म्रियमाणो गतिं लभेत् गीतार्थश्रवणासक्तो महापापयुतोऽपि वा वैकुण्ठं समवाप्नोति विष्णुना सह मोदते गीतार्थं ध्यायते नित्यं कृत्वा कर्माणि भूरिशः जीवन्मुक्तः स विज्ञेयो देहान्ते परमं पदम् गीतामाश्रित्य बहवो भूभूजो जनकादयः निर्धूतकल्मषालोके गीतायाताः परं पदम् गीतायाः पठनं कृत्वा माहात्म्यं नैव यः पठेत् वृथा पाठो भवेत् तस्य श्रम एव ह्युदाहृतः एतन्माहात्म्यसंयुक्तं गीताभ्यासं करोति यः स ततः फलमवाप्नोति दुर्लभां गतिमाप्नुयात् सूत उवाच महात्म्यमेतद्गीताया मया प्रोक्तं सनातनं गीतान्ते च पठेद्यस्तु यदुक्तं तत्फलं लभेत इति श्रीवाराहपुराणे श्रीगीतामाहात्म्यं सम्पूर्णम् ॐ तत्सत्। श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता महात्म्यम् अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता महात्म्यम् गीताशास्त्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः पुमान् विष्णो पदवाप्नोति I think Brahmaraji it's meter I'm not saying correctly.
विष्णोः पदमवाप्नोति भयशोकादिवर्जितः गीताध्यायनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीताम्भसि स्नानं संसारमलनाशनम् गीता सुगीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रविस्तरैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद्विनिसृता भारतामृतसर्वस्वं विष्णोर्वक्राद्विनिसृतं गीता गङ्गोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्रगीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्य तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा. Om Tat Sat. I think this is it, or you have the next page also?
No,
It says one.
Brahmaraji, only this. Yeah. This
It
is
says
the last.
one of two. So is this the second page? Just check if there's another page.
Yeah, this is the meaning of the page. I think
The
once
meaning. Okay,
yeah.
that's fine. I think we will stop here today. There are two suggestions. One from my side. One is to restart reading the Gita home study once again. The second one is to park the Gita home study and visit Gurudev's discourses on the Bhagavad Gita. He has given discourses from chapter 1 to 18. We could do that and then come back to the Gita home study. So once we arrive at a consensus, we'll do that. We can start that from tomorrow.
Yes. First, let us go through Gurudev's and
Yeah. Another suggestion from Dr. Renu was that we limit this to 1 hour and not 1.5, because it is spilling out into getting ready for work, according to her. So we'll see how it works, how it moves forward. We'll watch Gurudev's video and then do a bit of Manana on that before we close. It might spill over to a little over 1 hour, but we'll see how to take it forward to cater to everybody's needs. Okay. Jai Gurudev.
yeah, one thing I want to share here, that the involvement of everyone, how you consider it, and participation. So it feels like it belongs to me, and this whole thing is happening for me. That feeling comes very beautifully, and that is why I'm more grateful to the whole group and
Yes.
Brahmaraji also. Jai Gurudev.
Yes. I would acknowledge everybody's participation here, and special thanks go out to Bela, Mrinal, Dr. Mara, Sumaji, and you, of course, and all of you who are keen to read, and grateful to the whole group, to the whole Sangha, and grateful to Gurudev for bringing us together, to Nana for starting the whole thread and to inspire us to take this forward. And of course to Krishna. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
निरुपमनित्यनिरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्य भिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडाद्यहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे बत विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावान् घटितघटना पडीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना